Here was the deal with that. There are participants on the show that offer the show nothing. And that is aggravating. You know, trying to get people to understand what we're doing was very tough. And I got that. Hey, guys, this isn't real. And what I mean by that is, you know, Joel, when this show started, if you won, you really did get a contract and a job. You really went to Trump Tower and got put on an assignment and worked for Donald Trump. When you do it Celebrity Apprentice, it's purely a game. It's just a straight-up game to move forward. So we're all in this together because the ratings and the exposure matter. It is only a media opportunity for being on the show. So you want to do really well, one, because it's a contest, but two, if you stick around and you get that exposure, you can parlay that into something else. That creates a bit of a conflict with people in understanding that, guys, we're here to make TV, first and foremost. And, you know, they bring these people in, and there were some very nice people there. I'll use Brooke by example. Brooke's still around. I don't know. Once you go home, you literally go home. You do not go back to the set. You're at the hotel. You fly out the next day. You're gone. So once I leave, I don't have any information on what happens to the show to disclose that. I can tell you for sure Brooke doesn't win. I'm watching. Brooke was the most. This isn't a Barry Brooke session. I'm just using her by example. Brooke was the most popular contestant amongst the contestants. She was a perfect 10 in every category you could think of, Joel. Honest, fun, kind, nice, all of these different things. She offers zero to the show. It's like, Brooke, we're here to get some ratings. If you're not going to go in and fight, if you're not going to get in the boardroom and fight, you just want to smile and make everybody like you, there's no reason to have you here. And when she goes in the boardroom, she doesn't put herself over. She doesn't play the game at all. She doesn't create any kind of television whatsoever. She's so locked on being liked. Lisa Leslie, who was the least popular contestant amongst the contestants, was a great cast. Whoever casted her at NBC should be patted on the back because she did make TV through being a disaster or being a brat to be around or being a mess, whatever insult you wanted to give her, she's good for television. And they had a basketball challenge, and so there was some politics involved there. There was a basketball challenge that was this week. Lisa Leslie was a basketball player. She won 4 Olympic titles in basketball, which consists of 48 minutes of watching her and her teammates miss layups, but she still won the gold medals. You have to keep her around until the basketball challenge is over. You just can't send her home. So there's the politics on her side, or she would have been gone, but she still was good for TV. Now, the miss for Lisa is all she wanted to do was be liked. She's just such a disaster that nobody could like her, but she wanted to be liked. So she's playing the game, and she's being as nice as she can. Now, people that watch the show are going to go, well, she wasn't nice at all. Well, She was being as nice as she knew how to be. But when she did get fired, Joel, she makes this comment, and it tells you everything you needed to know about her participation. She says, I just hope America loved me as much as I loved America. So she was trying to go out and like be liked. And I'm looking back going, Lisa, it's terrible for TV for one. And two, don't be one of these celebrities, if you will, that just lives a fake life to have people that you don't know say nice things about you on Twitter. It doesn't make one bit of difference, and it's not real anyway. Go out and make TV. Help the series and the people that brought you in and hired you. Help them be a success so that the show does well, wins the night, does well in the ratings, and has another season. That's what you're hired to do. But there wasn't one person on that show, aside from me, that understood that concept, that, hey, we're working for somebody else here. Now, do your own thing, get yourself over, promote your brand how you want. Just make sure you're cognizant that we are making TV. That's what we're brought in here to do. And that concept that I just said for you, Joel, was lost on all of them, and any of them that hear this still aren't going to get it. There wasn't one of them down there that understood this isn't real. This is a ratings push, so let's go out and get them.
I will tell you this, and again, it's based on the 2 episodes that I have now watched, is Lisa Leslie had the best summation of what happened. She said, when you cut that cord, she said, I didn't see it happen. All I seen was the power went out, the cord was cut, and he's holding scissors. It's kind of like somebody just got stabbed. There's a knife, there's a bloody person, there's only two people, you stabbed that guy.
Yeah,
I thought
was
that
funny.
was, she said it way better than that, but that was really, really funny. So yeah, the numbers are down, man. I wish the show luck, but maybe they should have kept old Chael P on a little longer.
Yeah, well, and you never know. You never do know how to do that. It's like, again, I'll use Brooke, and I'm throwing some mud at her, but there is a lesson to be learned there. And Brooke was a wonderful person, but it doesn't change the fact that she offers nothing to that. Zero. Not one human being is tuning into that show because Brooke's, I got to see what Brooke's going to do next. None. She's a total dud on there, and it's so obvious that, she's much like Lisa. She just doesn't want anyone to say anything bad about her, even a person she doesn't know from halfway across the world in 140 characters on Twitter. And I see so many people get like that. You got a little bit like that when we were doing the Nick Bones. You're like, hey, come at me with a mean tweet and I'll give you a Nick Bone. And then pretty soon you started blocking people.
It's a process.
Yeah, it is a process. I'm not bagging on you for doing it. This is just a real part of human psychology where social media is very effective in that it is social. You go on there and it's to socialize and be part of something. And that's a concept that I didn't fully get because we didn't have that when I was a kid. Kids are getting bullied now on social media. I can't relate to it. I'm looking back going, well, yeah, so what? Kids are mean to kids, but it's a real thing. I'm missing that because I didn't grow up with it. But when I watch an adult, a privileged, crowned up celebrity, get their feelings hurt on social media, I scratch my head. And when I'm, watching Lisa send off, I just hope everybody loved me. It's like, yeah, man, it's clear that's all you did here. You put up a fake front to be as nice as you fakely could, to have fake people that aren't really in your lives say something nice about you. And it's like, man, it's just ridiculous. Then you get a real person like Laila. Laila's as real as they get. Like her or don't like her, and most people do.
Can you tell the jacket story?
On Layla's coat?
Yeah.
I'll hit Laila right in the body. I told her I'll give her a body shot.
Tell that whole story because it's a good story.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can make it a good story or not, but I mean, if you're teeing me, Laila had a coat, okay? It was one of the most badass jackets I've ever seen, and I wanted it for Miss Brittany. I'm like, I'll buy 5 of those right now. My wife needs to have that jacket. So there is something about Laila that is somewhat intimidating to all the contestants. We're like, I got the same thing from the guys, but she got the same thing from the girls. And so I sent John Lovitz over to find out where she got the coat. So, for whatever reason, Laila gets pissed. She is red hot that I sent Lovitz over. Why wouldn't you ask me? Why wouldn't you ask me yourself? You want this coat? You come and ask me. She goes off on me for having. I told Lovitz, I said, hey, I like that jacket. Ask Laila. We were separated in 2 lines, and Lovitz was in the Laila line. I was in a different line. So it's like, hey, John, when you go over to your line, ask her where she got that coat. Something about me sending Lovitz over to ask her that question sets her off. So I said, I'll take your coat. You think I'm scared to ask you where you I'll take your coat. You set the coat down, it becomes my coat. She's like, I've had this jacket 14 years. I don't even know where I got this jacket. You think you're going to, she said to me, you think you're going to gangster my jacket? I said, I'll drop you with a body shot right now. I don't know who you're puffing up to. She said, why don't you try to do it? So it's back and forth, but it formed a friendship. Like, I'll reach out to her this day and send her a text that just simply says, where's my coat?
Well, what you said during the shooting, you were like, man, I don't know if she knows this is a game. This is a gimmick. I'm not going to hit her with a body shot.
I just like the coat. I wanted to go buy one. I didn't want to take her jacket, but if she's going to take it, she said, you're going to try to gangster my jacket, which is a funny line. But it's like, yeah, I'll take your jacket.
You said she stayed in character the whole time. You didn't know if she ever knew it was a joke.
Well, she did it off camera. We were off camera. There was no mics, no cameras around, and she storms into the makeup room later, and that's actually when she used the line, you're going to try to gangster my jacket. I've had that jacket 14 years. I said, I'll take your coat right now. And so, yeah, she was in character, but I stayed in it, too, and the whole time I was wondering, like, hey, I wasn't really going to take that jacket, right? But I don't know if she knows. I'll still text her this day, where's my coat?
Okay, so I asked.
She's great. Now, I told you I don't know. I'm telling you right now, Brooke there's nothing there. There's just simply nothing there. There's nothing where you could crown her the winner because you do have to go and battle and fight. She refuses to fight. She'll get in a boardroom and put somebody else over. She'll get in a boardroom and the governor will say, well, how will you do? And she'll turn to Matt Eisen and go, well, Matt was amazing. Matt was so great. She puts Matt over. It's like, well, Brooke, if you're putting somebody else over and saying that a subordinate to you did a better job than you did, you make yourself vulnerable, which is not what this process is about. It's every man for himself. There's a bone out there. You got to be a dog and go out there and get it. And I'm watching her on the show, and yeah, the ratings did dip, but I mean, I'm pulling for the show 100%, and I think it's a very good show. I want the ratings to do high, so yeah, I do pay attention to that, and the numbers are the numbers, and yeah, it went down, but some of it, I'm looking at going, well, yeah, you let Brooke stick around. Brooke offers nothing, zero, to this entire process, and I'm not even sure she understands what it is.
Well, you need to clarify that you think Brooke doesn't win. Let's not have you sued for $1 billion.
Yeah, no. Well, how do I get sued? What, I'm wrong on this? But I mean, I'm just telling you.
You said she doesn't win.
Yeah, well, I'm guaranteeing it. She can't win. She shouldn't still be around. Now, she hasn't done anything to get fired either, but she just is offering nothing to the process. So I think your original point was to put me over and go, well, you left and now the ratings are down. And the reality is, one probably has nothing to do with the other. But I did leave and the ratings did go down. So I'll wear that crown a little bit, but. You do look at it. You've got what you've got. You fire people, you hope for the best. But I'm looking at it, and there's politics involved there. And I'm looking at it, I'm just going, man, she's offering nothing. She should be gone. And the show does hurt when you have the wrong people that are in there. You've got a person on there who cannot win this. She has conceded in the boardroom a number of times to Matt that Matt is better than her. Well, if you're telling me Matt's better than you and I'm making the decision, I have to take you at your word. Which means Matt has to beat you, which means you can't win. You're not moving the range. You're doing nothing that's interesting. You're kissing every ass that you can. To watch the girls go into that boardroom and flirt with Governor Schwarzenegger is sickening to me. It's every man the only female that we have that doesn't flirt and smile with the governor is Laila. Laila's real, and Laila might be my new pick. I don't know. I thought that Carson was also a big threat, but he went home. But to watch Lisa go out and watch her as her sign-off goodbye of, I just hope everyone loved me, it's like, God damn it, why don't you tell us this in rehearsal, and we could have just scratched you from the list?
Okay. Your two favorite people.
I wouldn't give a damn if any of them liked me. It's a ratings thing. What are the ratings and what's good for TV? What's good for the franchise that hired you? I just hope everyone likes me. Well, nobody does, for one, but now, even if I don't like you, I could still respect you. Now I can't respect you. When you tip your hat and show your hand that I'm just on here so people say nice things about me on Facebook, now I don't even respect you.
Okay, your two favorite people on the show.
Oh, John Lovitz and Laila Ali, and there was a lot of favorites. Matt is awesome. Vince Neil was great. You want to know who was great? That was a bit of a surprise. Boy George, very fun to be around. I didn't get to know Snooki very well, but also very nice. Wrong atmosphere for her. She took herself out of it and said as much. She goes, look, this isn't for me. But was a very nice person. And then Carrie, I didn't even get to meet. I don't even think I got to say hello to her. And, she was the first one gone, and we were on separate teams. And I don't even think in any of the socials or anything that we crossed each other's paths. So a lot of really good people. I could really say that. Ricky was a great guy. But John Lovitz, when you're around a comedian, he's making you laugh all day long. How do you beat that? And then when you have Laila, who I respect. As a person going, she's going to have to ruin that. She's going to have to do something to make me not respect her. And she didn't do it. She was great.
All right, let me ask you this, or speak on this. I noticed in the 2 episodes that I've watched, which is actually 4 episodes, because they're 2 hours, people are getting tired. Because now at this point, you guys have been there 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been there 8 weeks. You're basically hostage in your hotel. I can tell some people are getting tired. Did you feel that?
Yeah, people did get tired. Vince Neil took himself out as well and said as much. He came there for a charity. He didn't set the record, but I believe he's number 2. He raised $778,000. Incredible accomplishment. And it's a simple law of biology. Anything that's red hot can only cool off. So Vince was red hot. He achieved his goal. He got his charity out there, and he got them funded. I mean, that will fund his charity for about 3 years off of their numbers, or allow them to grow. Bottom line is he was a huge success, but once his mission was accomplished, he was the first to tell you, my mission here is accomplished.
All right, last question. Laila and Lovitz on top of a burning building. You can only save one. Who stays?
I'm out.
No, you can't be out.
Well, no, I didn't agree to the game.
You can't be out.
No, if I'm playing the game, I can't be out. But I didn't agree to play the game. But they both really were very neat people. And I think that a number of people there were. You've also got your jerks on the crew, right? And people, I would be in the jerk crew. But I'm out making TV. I understand what we're doing here. Some people didn't even understand. Some people had never watched the show before. That was very aggravating. There's a gal that was on the show that had been on Little House on the Prairie. I'm trying to think of her name, but she's also on some smutty reality show now. She was a very nice gal. Kylie Jenner. Was Kylie Jenner on the show? Kyle something. Kyle Richards is her name. Kyle Richards was on the show. Very nice person. But she had never watched it before. And she said as much, and she thought that was funny. She thought that was a selling feature. And I'm going, Kyle, this is a game, but it's a competition that we've all agreed to. We all have to be here to try to win. If you're telling us you didn't do your research, I didn't have to do any because I just happened to watch this show. It's one of the few shows I watch, but I happened to watch it and just enjoyed it. But even if I hadn't, once I'm a contestant, a participant in some kind of a contest where they are keeping score, there is going to be a winner. I'm going to go do my homework. I'm going to train, if you will. I'm going to prepare. She didn't go out and prepare. I thought that was a little bit disappointing. Again, it doesn't come back down to who's loved. It comes back. Look, here's the thing, Joel, and every human being that's listening to this needs to ask themselves this. Are you living your life to be liked, or are you living your life to be respected? Because there's a huge difference. You need to live to be respected. You need to make tough choices and tough decisions that are the right ones, that get you respect. When I have a contestant, and I could say a million nice things about her, I can't say that I respect her. When you come on a show and your gimmick is to let everybody know, I have never seen this, how does this work? I just lost respect for you. And, that was the thing with a lot of the contestants. And a lot of celebrities you will meet in real life, you will leave nothing but disappointed. They're out of touch. They don't get, you see them weighing in on their politics, and their politics are always off the board too. They're totally out of touch. But when you're really rich and you've got your own security and you're flying around on private planes, you don't really have to worry about everyday problems, and they become extremely out of touch. And when that rubs off and you meet someone like that, it's really disheartening. And, the Governor Schwarzenegger, talk about like versus respect. Everybody respected him, myself included. He was a hard worker. He was the first one there. He was a man of his word, and he told you news, even news you didn't want, by looking you in the eye and telling it to you straight. Nothing behind your back. And everybody respected him. And the contestants, again, particularly the females, and Brooke is a fine example, but you're going to go in there and you're going to flirt with him. You're going to smile and try to make him like you. Like, come on, man, this is bottom feeder stuff. Go in there and fight. Don't have him liking you. Have him respecting you. And if you don't get that concept, you don't belong. And most of them just didn't belong.
OTLP's got his swag back. I like that.
Man, I'm just coming at you real. I'm watching this thing, and it's tough because we are all part of it. Schwarzenegger and Trump somehow have tried to make it about them. Well, I did better than you. Look, we were all in that together. We all put in as much time as anybody else in sacrifice. This isn't the president versus the governor. It's just not. They can make it like that to put themselves over, but then they're putting us under. It's like, hey, don't forget, we're all involved here. And when I'm dealing with my fellow castmates, and I'm going, guys, this is what would be better for the show. And they're looking at me like, man, that's crazy. Why would I care about the show? I'm here for myself. It's like, then don't accept the paycheck. It's as simple as that. Nobody made much money doing this show, but you still made money. If you're working for somebody else, you put them over. You do the best job that you can for them. And when I watched the fellow contestants, and all they wanted to do was be liked and look nice, and just be yourself. Go out there, try to win this thing. And when you get in the boardroom, per the rules, you're supposed to fight. Go in there and fight. You don't smile and flirt and try to wink at the governor. That happened with Trump one time, and he called a girl out on it. He said, "Did you just flirt with me?" Called her out, which she had. He fired her on the spot for doing that. Didn't even get to the task. He said, "You flirted with me. You are fired."
He just fired the attorney general.
Yeah, wow. You want to get into that?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, the Attorney General goes against the president. They're walking. Now, I will tell you this from a legal matter. There is a rule where you cannot be fired for insubordination. And it had to do with whistleblowers that came out and saw corruption and said, hey, they wanted people to speak up. This is the government. It's supposed to be transparent. So I don't know legally where that will go. But yeah, man, you can't go against the president. He signs an executive order, and then you're going to go out on your own and go and tell people not to follow it when you're the Attorney General. You're getting your walking papers. And like everything he does, he manned up and he took care of business.
Boy, the one thing, I like to stay out of politics. I've mentioned this to you because I don't know anything about it. And, children, kids, lads 13 growing on 14, are basically a parrot to whatever their parents say. The one thing about the last 16 months, and I'll give you the example I gave Maddie Sprague this morning at breakfast, is two people that I respect, that I know are successful, they're intelligent. One's my brother Dominic, okay, very successful lawyer, Harvard graduate, very, very intelligent, and you. How can you guys be so wrong or so right? And this is where his beliefs are, Trump's the worst in the world. You're pro-Trump. I'm just like, one of the problems that I see is we're so emotional about this. I'm like, man, just let the guy do his job.
Yeah, there's a little bit of room for that. I mean, it is a hot button topic, so I get where it could be. But when I was growing up, people would say, and this was kind of the overwhelming statement of the entire country, I just wish somebody would go through the White House doors and do what they said they would do. And politicians would say one thing to get elected, and it was all talk and it was no action. Whether you agreed with them or didn't agree with them, it was always frustrating that they buckled when they got to Washington, D.C., and they lied to the voters. And that was a really tough thing. And, yeah, I am a Republican. I stand. In fact, I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative. But to act like Barack Obama wasn't a good man infuriates me. And you won't get a Republican to say anything good about him. And it's like, man, I don't know where that's coming from. That was a good man. And that is a man not only of integrity, but he did what he said he would do. Whether you agree with his policies, that's a separate issue. That is a man who told us what he was going to do, went into Washington, and was a man of his word. And he should be recognized for that. And I have a strong opposition to anybody, regardless of party affiliation, that disagrees with what I just said, because it's not true. He was a man of his word. That same respect does need to be shown to Trump. Now, he's been in office, what are we, just under 2 weeks?
I don't even think 2 weeks.
Yeah, 13 days now. So to have a hatred and a vitriol towards a guy that's just getting going is a little misplaced to start with. I think in fairness, again, regardless of party lines, you've got to agree with what I just said there. He's been in there for 13 days.
That's where I'm at. I'm like, man, let this guy do his job. It's a pretty important job.
And secondly, Joel, and it's the same respect that needs to be shown to Barack Obama, who was a excellent, excellent man with an excellent family. And that's just the reality. He is doing what he said he would do. He said, I'm going to run this like a business. I'm rich. I know how to run businesses. This country has been taken advantage of. They've been beaten at every deal they've done, and those days are behind us. And if you're running a business and you have a subordinate of you that shows insubordination, goes against you to the troops in your office when you're the one writing the check and it's your company, they're gone. They're gone that day. So you bring up the Attorney General. She's got to go. Now, federal law, let's see what happens there. I think we're all going to learn something. But to act like she didn't go into business for herself, yeah, she did. She went into business for herself. She knew with the administration. She knew with the assignment of Jeff Sessions. She knew she was gone anyway. Guaranteed she has aspirations to go run for the Congress or the Senate or the mayor of New York. That's all she's doing. And that's what's sickening about all of Washington. It's why there's the argument for term limits, whether you're for that or against it. That's why that argument exists. And that's exactly what she did. She went into business for herself. That's not what she's hired to do. She's there to carry out her boss's wishes, and she's there to represent the country. She's got to go.
All right, let's get off that because there's nothing there.
There's nothing you can win at. You know,
can't. It's just, and I can't speak on it at all.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you have to. I think you just have to look at me and go, yeah, I've never worked in a company ever where I could go against a direct order from my boss publicly and expect to stay.
Yeah, I tried that almost every time.
And it didn't work.
Every
correct?
time.
Super Bowl coming up this Sunday.